Hello guys, welcome back to Let's Go Far Together. Today I'm going to discuss with you what happened on the game that we had this weekend. If you recall, I made a video before about how we were going to try to do try to play with the formation 1-3-4-3. I even dropped this guy in instead of leaving him high, or instead of playing like this, to one, have a creative player to be able to connect the midfield to the attackers better, but also, more importantly, to make sure that we did not get overrun in the midfield. Our opponent was playing a 4-2-3-1, as is shown here. I noticed that in the game as soon as it started. And if you recall, or if you go back and watch the video, I had a lot of reservations personally because I don't really like back three formations. Again, this is a personal opinion because most of the time it creates a big old gap right here on what's known as the undefendable space to literally be an option for us to get pulled out of position and get cut open. And the good points that we took from the game is we attacked well. We didn't do so bad there. The midfield, we done really good. However, defensively, our wingbacks, which if you remember, that's part of what I had reservations about. We have a small squad, and in my opinion, when you're playing with a system, whether it's a 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2 or 3-4-3, whatever system you're using, that is a back three, it almost ends up being a back five, and therefore right away you're limiting yourself on how you get out. But at the same time, with the small roster, like I told you guys, I only have 12 players in the team. Sometimes we have subs, sometimes we don't. You know, when I say subs, I mean like just kids that come and help. They have good quality. I don't mean subs like they're not good enough to be in the team. I just mean we have a small roster, and sometimes we get help, sometimes we don't. But either whether we get help or not, regardless of anything, in soccer, in football as I call it, you need to have very good understanding within your teammates with as far as who pressures, who makes the cover, who's going to follow the overlapping run, who's going to follow on track those late runners from the midfield, from the second line into the attack, into our area, our defensive zones. We have to have a very, very clear understanding of that. And I was afraid of what actually ended up happening. We got found out, we got exposed, we got our pants pulled down, in the matter of speaking, and we got hurt. They put a lot of balls in these areas, and they pinned them over here. At one point, what ended up happening is our two DMs, and I'll tell you about the DMs here in a minute, what I found out over this weekend. But our two DMs were positioned like so. That's two of a straight line when you're defending. These guys didn't track back. Well, it's not in time. They were about here when the first goal happened. And they simply had one guy over here pulling a defender. And the guy that crossed the ball to a 10, right here, he had the time to take a touch, lined up his shot, and put it on our top right corner. And it was a beautiful shot and everything, but he should have never been given that time and space to be able to do that. And the reason we did that is because I went with a system that we were not yet ready to play with. So as I told the kids, that's completely on me, and I take responsibility for that. But also at the same time, as coaches, we have to be flexible in the sense that, well, at least me personally, I don't like being my way over the highway kind of guy, especially when you're dealing with youth players that are still developing, that are still growing. You want them, one, to develop a passion for the game and a love that they want to be a part of the team, that they want to do anything that they need to do for the team, that they don't have no star syndrome, and that they just love the game overall. You want them watching soccer games when they're at home, not just like sitting on their butts playing video games or whatever kids do nowadays. You want them to have a love for the game. You don't want to drill them into, okay, this is my system, this is my philosophy, and this is how we're going to do it. Again, in a personal opinion, as a coach, you have to adapt to what the players are comfortable with and what they can actually do. And this was something, the 3-4-3 is something that they feel comfortable with having 3 defenders at the back because of a previous game. Again, if you go back and look at the video, I mentioned that, but we had a previous game before that where we played it for a half and the kids adapted well. Well, number one, they're doing great at adapting to different formations on the fly. We just started the season. We didn't have, we dip in the season, but what I mean is we didn't have a whole month of preparation. I took over this team about 1 practice before we actually started playing games. We have only won 2 games. We drawn 1 and we lost 3. So we're not doing too hot, but the good thing is that we're making progress in the right direction. And I want to, as a coach, give the kids an opportunity to play a system that they feel they are comfortable with and that they feel can actually give them fruits. Okay, on that game on Saturday, we were down 3-1, yet again, for the 3rd time in a row at that point, on a game, on the first half, 3-1. What I changed on the halftime, and I told the guys because I noticed this, and this is where I come to the pivots, to this double pivot. Before this, I have used the 1-4-2-3-1 formation, which is essentially what the red is using. And it did well. But we were having trouble attacking. And like I said, the kids felt like they would have 3 defenders at the back and they would feel safer and more secure. And I went with it. We worked on it. And we got exposed. Now, we will still keep it as a plan B. Again, because I'm not a my way or the highway kind of guy. So if they feel very comfortable with it, we will work on that somewhat. But this is what I found out about the double pivots. And this is what I did on halftime. I drop it to a back 4. And I noticed when we were playing 1-4-2-3-1 and when we were playing, again, it's a formation that I used in the past. When we played that 3-4-3 with the double pivots, I noticed that most of the pivots, if one goes, the other one stayed. They were doing that right, but they were staying on their side rather than shifting into the middle, or if the ball's over here, shifting over here if this guy went. They would stay on this side, so by the time we got attacked, they're just following a runner, and it's the wrong guy to track, because they're supposed to track the 10, and more importantly, they're supposed to protect zone 14, which I have been very adamant at making sure the kids understand. And as a coach, if you know the terminology, don't just throw it out there like you're speaking Shakespeare to these kids that don't understand it. Make sure they understand. Make sure everybody has a good understanding of the things that you are using. Don't just throw words just to be like, sound smart or something. You got to make sure the kids understand. Otherwise, you're the one that's stupid. Now, through this zone, we have considered a lot of goals. And I made a point to tell the kids that this zone needed to be protected. Again, we were down 3-1 on the first half. Like I said, they were moving. Yes, they were shifting. One was taking the place and the other one wasn't. But they weren't moving over. They were not shifting over to the zone where they're supposed to be. So I put a single pivot, 2 cams. Sorry, I messed this up. I moved around the other team. There you go. A single pivot, 2 cams to match them man for man on midfield. Notice how that's completely different because now we are more attacking. We're more on the front foot, but because of my players, I don't want to call it deficiencies, but they're just not there as far as understanding when to shift and what zone to protect. Well, they understand very clear that this is the zone. So if I tell them to just stay, and you can use this with your players as a coach, just to stay in front of the 2 center backs, about 10-15 yards in front, depends on when the play is, and make sure they're dropping in and protecting those guys right away. Mainly, that's the task. Now, as you can tell, right away, we are more attacking. And what I did, I went almost crazy there, because again, I don't like having a single pivot, but the kids really understand how to do that. So I'm using the understanding they have and growing them and they're pushing them in the right direction to be able to perform better as a team, get the qualities that they use, and to be working on function of the team, and overall just to have more joy out of the game. And this is how we went on the second half. Well, right away when we were pushing up, this guy was pushing up, but he was staying in front of the defenders like he was supposed to. These guys were going up to support the winger. We haven't done overlaps yet. And again, because of the limited squad, I don't want to burn these guys into you have to go all the way over here and then come back and do that 100 times during the game. So the way I've been doing it is they just come to support to where if the 11 has the ball, they come to support to where when we are attacking like so, they can be a drop so that we can recycle the ball or swing it across. So we can go to the 10 or we can go to the 6 and to the 2 and then just go at it again. I hope that makes sense. But just to recap, what ended up being on the game, what ended up happening, is we ended up tying. We scored 2 more goals and I was really proud. I made sure I told the kids that I was really proud of them. And if you guys are watching, which I hope you are, I'm really proud of you for what you've done on that game. Now, for the game on Sunday, we play a team that's undefeated. We play a team that passed us to death when we play at our home. We didn't see the ball much. We ended up losing 3-0. They scored 3 goals in the first half, and they just pretty much killed us in the first half. The second half, we defended better. We done okay. And that's the game where we used the back 3 formation for the second half, and the kids really found joy on it or feel secure. Well, like I said, forward 2 weeks, and we played them again, but this time we played them with the formation that we finished out on Saturday. We started like this. We started and we finished like this. I didn't move it anymore because they really are grasping. I'm very proud that in the first half, though the other team controlled the possession, we were able to break their passes a lot more than we did before because, again, they played with a 4-2-3-1 and we were matching in their midfield, man for man, and it was just about winning the duels. What we also have is we have really fast fullbacks that actually do cross country, I think is what it's called, or track. I don't know the difference, to be honest with you, but they run a lot for the school. So these kids have a lot of stamina, but again, they kids, so they get tired, they get burned a little bit, and then we gotta stop them out. But what I'm getting at is these guys right here are really good at shifting into the midfield to do an overload. And they understand that it's one at a time, and if the ball's over here, this guy shifts in here, so then this guy doesn't get a ball, and then we got to go around. And usually if the ball's right here, again, because we coaching youth soccer, it's more likely that you're going to see a pass here to where this other guy can match him and then try to fight him for the ball instead of a big old switch of 40 yards. All right, and just, again, this is a youth soccer channel mainly. Now, again, on the first half, we drew 0-0. On the second half, they scored on us. And that hurt. But within 3 minutes, we went at it, and we scored. We had more chances throughout the whole game than we did in the game before, where we only had like 2 half chances and an actual shot on goal, on target. The previous game that we played them. We also did something very beautiful in the sense that just the reaction, the grit, the whole idea of like, yes, they beat me before, but we go at them again and we go at them and we go at them and we make sure we destroy their game and build ours. That I really enjoyed. Sadly though, on the very, very last minute of the game, this guy was tracking his guy correctly. These guys were narrow, as they're supposed to. This guy's trying to avoid the cross. My 6 came to support. And none of my cams protected the zone. And their number 8 took a shot from about there and went right under the post into the back of the net. It was painful. It hurt. The kids were upset because it felt like we were doing so good. We done so good the entire game, and yeah, on the very last minute we make a mistake because, and I'm not pinning them just on the six because first of all, this guys should have been tracking back to support, if not this guy. But these guys are supposed to be the ones coming in here to support. Again, to limit the running of the players. I have this guy follow this runs, so then these guys can be available to attack. And at the same time, if we get buried in, then we allow the other team to put more numbers forward. So what I do when we're defending, I have this guy stay as high as possible to try to make sure that the two center backs stay busy over there. And I have this guy just shift into the middle a little bit while this guy stays a little higher to make sure this guy cannot come and play a 2v1 with our fullback. But what was supposed to happen is the 10 was supposed to come over here and cover, or at the very least, if the 6 goes and cover, then the 10 or the 8 are supposed to be taking this position, so that shot does not happen. During the entire game, we done it perfectly. I'm making sure our 6 was here, and when he wasn't, either the 8 or the 10 in our position, in our team, were in those positions. And again, we didn't track right. This guy was open, and they scored. But I am very, very satisfied that we found out that we need a single pivot. We found out we got a lot of fight in us. We can go down on the score, and we can tie and almost win actually on the game on Saturday. We found out information that I feel very comfortable that the kids are able to exhibit their strengths, and it hides the weaknesses of the team the best. We find out a formation that can give us a really good attacking because we have the two camps that are able to attack, the fullback support, again, without doing too many overlaps and end up like Liverpool with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson finishing it at the end. We're not doing that yet, okay? But again, it's because we have a limited roster. If you don't, then by all means, have at it. But we found out the formation we're going to stick with. We found out we've got a single pivot, and we got kids that are capable of playing these positions. And more importantly, we were able to finish this bad consistency of going down 3-0 or 3-1, just conceding 3 goals no matter what on the first half, sorry. Because we done that 3 games in a row. And it was, I don't want to say upsetting, but it was just starting to get annoyed that we were starting games so slow that we would concede, and only after we got punched in the nose a few times, we were like, oh, let's play. We should never be like that. And we were able to turn that around against the team that's undefeated, and we almost pulled a draw against. So we got a tournament in 2 weeks. We don't have any games this weekend. So we are going to continue to work. Now that I know that we can defend properly, we're going to work a lot on our attacking. And we started that yesterday. And again, this is the way I work. This is the way I play. This is the way I coach. If you feel differently as a coach or a parent about that you need to just try to score first and protect your back later, to me, it doesn't work like that. Because you cover up your head, but you don't cover your feet. Either way, you're cold. Right? It's the way I feel. So we protect well. We stay compact. We're able to cover everything. Okay, this is just to use like a little metaphor there. But I look forward to the tournaments that are coming up, and I look forward to this kid growing through the winter, sorry. So that by the time the spring comes, we are at a level that is, how do I say this? At a level that is where I think this guy should be. Because right now we're like right here. And yeah, we're climbing up compared to where we started, but I feel like they could be right here. And I know they can do it. I know they have the quality to do it, and I know they have they have enough team cohesion. You know, there's no kids that don't get along with each other or nothing like that. It's just that, again, maybe it's my fault because I just focus on defending so much and starting from the back to the front. But we are at a point now where we can actually take big steps on being able to attack, combine, find out our combinations on the sides, and in a way that we can actually put the other team under pressure and take more control of games, and overall, hopefully, have more wins. But more than anything, your focus as a coach, if you're a coach, needs to be on making those players better. And if you're a player, your focus needs to be on, yes, doing your best so the team wins. But if you don't win, that you do the best you can to where when that game is over, you don't have any regrets of like, oh, I should have done that better, or oh, I should have followed that runner, or oh, I should have taken a better shot, or oh, I should have supported that attack there because I would have been open. I shouldn't just stay back. You don't want to have any regrets when the game is over. It's like in life. You want to make decisions in a way that it gives you the less regret. That's not a safe way to play in life. That's not me being mediocre. It's just me telling you that you want to make the least amount of regrettable decisions in life that you can. And same in soccer or football. You want to make the least amount, again, the least amount of regrettable decisions, because that's all this is. It's decisions. Do I go cover my partner, or do I let him handle on his own? Do I let go of my guy and I follow this other guy because he's gonna be on goal? Do I go and support the attack? Do I make a pass to the wing, or do I just take my men on? You gotta decide all those things on the fly, and it's really hard. And the best way to do that is to trust each other and work as a team. And this is what we're going to be doing from now on in an attacking sense, because we got it down on defense, we got it locked in. So now it's time to just keep taking those steps to get better and better. Okay? I love you, kiddos, and see you tomorrow. And I look forward to the tournaments. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, give it a like, and let's keep growing this. More importantly, get better yourself as a coach or as a player. We'll see you.